Ready? Okay, first of all, the thing that we have to review, this goes back in your days in school. If you're going to convert a percent to a decimal, which we need to do in order to work through these problems, you either divide by 100 or you move the decimal left twice. So I can go through on all of these and change them into their decimal equivalents before I work. For example, 85% is 0.85. Do you get what I'm doing there? 50% is 0.5. 90% is 0.9. Does anybody have a question about what I'm doing?
No.
Moving the decimal 2 places over. It's always at the end and you move it 2 spots. Yeah. 8% is 0.08. Are you good with that? Less than 10%, you have to put another placeholder in there, a 0 in front of it. We've got another 50%, 0.5. I'm just moving down the evens and I'm converting all of my decimals into percents. I've got another 8%.
No, we're doing is just marking.
Nope, that's what we're doing right now, and then I'm going to show you what to do with those. 0.08. 0.01 for 1%.
What is the 85 for
0.85. Good? Okay. And if I have a problem that has 2% in it, I have to move them both. So discount is 0.23, tax here is 0.06. Okay? Again, any questions on changing to decimals? Anybody have a problem with that? All right. Then, now we're going to get to the math part of it. And so this is what I need to work through when I do a problem. If it is markup or tax, I do 1 plus the decimal before I do my math. If it's a discount, I do 1 minus the decimal before I do my math. Okay? Discount you would take away, so you subtract it. Markup and tax are added to the final, so you would add them. So these are the things that I'm going to have to do as well as convert. I've got to do this little prep work too. What goes on, the 1 stands for the decimal equivalent of 100%. So what this is saying is you're paying more than the 100% original cost by this decimal percent more. So for example, a car company will buy a car for $28,900, but they mark it up 85%, which means that you are actually paying 185% of the actual cost of the car, more than it really is, more than they bought it for, which makes sense because they need to make a profit. So to do this mathematically, I'll take the $28,900 that they pay for it, and to figure out what they're going to charge you, they'll take this 0.85 and they add that to 1.
So it's really 1.85.
So 1.85 is what they're going to multiply by to get the final cost, or what they're going to charge you. So this is where your calculator comes in handy. And again, you can use your phone calculator just fine. It doesn't really matter on this because the math isn't too fancy. So I would do $28,900 times 1.85, and then they're going to charge me $53,465, which is why, I don't know if you've heard that before, that you can kind of haggle the price a little bit. They'll go down a little bit because they're making quite a decent amount of profit. All right? And that's how markup is going to be always. Again, I take my decimal and I go 1 plus 0.5, so I'm going to be paying 150% of the cost for this bicycle. If the company paid $600 for it, they'll take the 600, multiply it by the 1.5, and they'll charge me $900.
Well, this is easy.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You just have to remember that when it's markup and tax, you add, and when it's discount, you subtract. So again, here I have a sled that is $94.95. My markup is 90%, so I'm going to add 1 plus 1.9 to get, or sorry, 1 plus 0.9 to get the 1.9. So they're going to charge me $94.95 times 1.9. And so watch out for this kind of stuff. When you're talking money, you can only go 2 numbers after the decimal point, so please make sure that you round to the nearest cent. So this is going to be $180.41. And usually they do their markup and then they go up even a little further. Like they would probably charge you $180.95. You've seen that before, right? So they make it go just under $180.99. Looks better than $181, but then they make sure that they get the markup necessary. Okay? So now let's skip to discount. Discount is 1 minus. So a discount is when they figure out their price that they want to charge you, and then to get you in the store, they knock some off or offer a coupon or some sort of or maybe they just want to clean out their inventory, and so they are cutting down the prices to get it out of there. So when you have a discount, you have to do 1 minus the decimal. Sometimes people struggle a little bit with this math, and so if you need to use a calculator, go ahead. But what I usually do is I take 100 minus 8 and think of that as 92, and then I'll convert the 92 to the decimal in my brain, you know, kind of go that way. So if it's $22.99 and they're discounting 8%, they're only going to charge me 92% of the actual cost of the item, or of what they originally wanted to do. Yep. Which comes out to be $21.15. So if my discount is 50%, which is a very hefty discount, but as we saw up here, sometimes they're marking it up by 85%. So even if they give me a 50% discount, they're still making 35% profit on an item, so that's not so bad. But this is 1 minus 0.5, or 100 minus 50 is 50. And then I convert that into the decimal. So I am going to get this kitten, which is $149.95, and they're trying to get rid of it, clean up their stock, so they're going to give it to me at 50% off. So I'm going to only pay half the price. Which means I'll pay $74.98. Don't forget, when it's money, you're rounding to 2 decimal places, and that's it. I have another 8% discount. We saw that 8% discount already. Remember, it's 100 minus 8, 92. So it's 0.92 is the decimal that I'm actually going to be working with. The original price of the motorcycle is $14,000. I got a deal on it, 8% off. So I'll do the 14,000 times 0.92 to get my final price. They'll charge me $12,880.
Oh.
All right, another thing that gets added, not only do the companies want to make a profit, but also the state and county want to make some money off of your purchases, and so that's where tax comes into play. And so tax is another thing that's added on top. So once the company figures out the price that they're going to charge you, then the tax will go on top of that. But it works the same way as a markup. And so when I'm doing the tax, I'll take 1 plus the decimal, and then I take my price, $169.99 times 1.01 to get the final price on the register that I'll pay. Although very few places have such a low tax, a 1% tax on them, most of them are closer to 6%, depending, or we're 6%. If you go to a different state, Chicago or New York, the bigger states, they're closer to like 10 or 11%. But maybe maybe Oregon, I think, is a low state or low tax state. So they might have a lower price on that. Anyways, this one comes out to be $171.69. Okay. So again, my tax 1 plus 0.03 is 1.03 added, 47,500 times 1.03. The higher the cost initial, the higher the end result in the tax is going to be. Because it's a percentage of the cost. So my 47,000, oops, I added an extra 0 on there. Clear that off. 47,500 times 1.03. 48925. $48,925. So if you notice, I'm paying like $1,000+ in tax on a heftier price item. So tax can really add up, and that's only a 3%. Okay? Another 3%, 1 plus 0.03. That gives me a $34,000 vehicle after taxes. Will be $35,020. Okay, now the last type of problem that we're going to see, and I only put one of those on there just to kind of spice it up, because in the real world you'll get your markup and then your tax on top of that, or your discount and your tax on top of that. So you'll end up having a two-step problem. So if I walk into a store and I'm going to buy a purse and it's $149.95. First of all, I think to myself, you fool, why would you pay so much for a purse? But they give me a 23% discount, so I'm going to do 1 minus 0.23. And so sometimes I just need to use my calculator to help me think through that. 1 minus 0.23 gives me 77%, 0.77. So I'm going to do the discount, 149.95 times 0.77. I'll get that value. And so that's $115.46, and then I'll take my tax on that price. So then it's 1 plus 0.06 equals 1.06. So I'll do 115.46 times 1.06 to get my final price. So I have step one, take the discount, step 2, do the tax. So step 1, take the discount, step 2, do the tax. Notice that my tax goes on my discounted price. So I'll take my 115.46 times 1.06. And $122.39. $122.39 will be the final price that I pay at the counter when I check out. Okay, so tax and discount,